Corporal Jacob C. Lewis, United States Marine Corps, 2nd Battalion, 1st Marines, 1st Marine Division.
It was almost like someone had taken away part of you.
He just has a really good way of making you feel like everything will be all right.
I don't think the general public has any idea what these boys are going through.
I thought it was one of the best decisions that he ever made to enlist, because I thought that he was not at all living up to his potential.
It was a surprise, last-minute surprise.
I didn't like the direction I was going. I noticed myself heading in a direction that wasn't good. So that's where I stopped things, and that's basically why I joined the Marine Corps.
He was going nowhere, and he knew it. And took me out to breakfast one morning and said, "Mom, I joined the Marine Corps." We had a goodbye party for him. And that was all well and good. And then I took him to I believe it was the, I don't know what they call it, the recruitment center. And we sat in the car. I get all emotional. We sat in the car for probably half an hour before he went in, and some talking, and I'm sorry, some talking and hugging, and off he went.
Your heart just breaks that someone that you love and care about has to go so far away to do something so ugly.
That was one time I actually did cry. I felt like I might not even see him again. That's how I felt.
Iraq, Fallujah, this is Camp Volturno. There's our houses we're temporarily living in. We're getting ready to do a raid tonight at midnight, so everybody getting ready. Here's our storage area for our guns and ammo. Small but adequate.
First day that we went into Fallujah, clearing house to house, we ended up on top of a rooftop shooting at at windows that we're shooting at windows. We did it a lot. The firing at us was just constant. It's just either mortar rounds were hitting or someone's taking pop shots out of a window. Their way of firing at us is holding an AK-47 out the window and ducking their head and just shoot off a couple rounds, run to the next building, whatever. First Marines that we lost out of our company. He died that day that we were in there, and he was shot by one of the fighters in Iraq, and that's when it hit us that guess what, people are going to die, and it's going to be people on our side, and it's going to be your friends that are going to die. because of whatever we're trying to solve here. Everything was winding down, and we were just hoping and praying that we weren't going to get blown up. You know, we weren't going to get taken out by another stupid roadside bomb. And you know, just your awareness level of everything, your alert level of everything is just heightened because you just don't want anything to happen. You've gone for so long without getting blown up. You just want to stay that way. You want to stay unscarred. Throughout the whole time in Iraq, and all the guys that all the trucks that had gotten blown up, it was the second vehicle that got blown up, and I noticed that as soon as we were leaving. I was like, great, you know, second vehicle. This is pretty much our last time we're going to be out here along the freeway before we get to go home. We didn't make it, but about 3/4 of a mile before we were blown up. Blown up, traveling about 55 miles an hour. As soon as the smoke cleared and I realized what the hell was going on, I started yelling for my buddy who was in the passenger seat. He didn't reply. Got the vehicle stopped, ran around to check on my buddy because I couldn't, you know, I looked over. I don't think for more than a second I knew I needed to get over, and I knew he needed help. He wasn't responding. Went over there, grabbed his chest to shake him to see if he was awake, and he just folded forward. I looked down, you know, see myself covered, you know, with blood, just from, you know, all my gear was just soaked in blood all the way down, and I was, you know, what the hell's going on? I started feeling, felt the wound in my neck. I was starting to get tunnel vision, you know, I couldn't really, wasn't really feeling that great.
Hi, this is Master Myers with 1st Marines Camp Pendleton, California. This is a message for Christopher or Kelly Lewis in regard to your son, Lance Corporal Jacob Lewis. It's very important that I speak to you. Please call me back 760-763-2318 or my cell phone 951-642-1279. Thank you.
It was one of these official Marine Corps calls, and I just thought, oh boy, here we go. The day I was dreading was actually happening.
The total time between time we found out his condition and the time we got the phone call was probably 5 hours, not knowing anything, that he had a severe neck wound. And it was the longest, what you feel like the longest 5 hours of your life. When we finally got a phone call, it was Jake himself calling us. And my son, my youngest, Matt, answered the phone and said Jake, and we knew that he was okay.
You could tell he had just woken up, and you know, I think Kelly was really crying hysterically. He was getting real mad at her, you know, tell Mom it's okay, not to get so crazy, I'm all right. And he kept saying he was all right, he's okay. And that was quite a relief. That was late that afternoon when he called.
I got a phone call from a number I had absolutely no idea about, but for some reason he was kind of on my mind. And so I picked it up, and the way that he was scared the shit out of me. I didn't know what was wrong, and he couldn't really tell me anything. All he said to me was, I've been in an accident and I'm coming home.
I got to the hospital in Camp Pendleton. My girlfriend and my mom were there waiting for me.
It was just sheer utter relief to see him. I evidently hugged him longer than he wanted me to, because he pushed me away. It was quite a while. And he was skinny, and he had staples in his neck, and hadn't shaved in a week. But looked better than I've ever seen him look. It was amazing. Someone found out that he was coming home, and they tied yellow ribbons all the way from the freeway all the way up to the house. You can see they're still out there. I'm not going to touch them. There was a big change. A big change in all the boys.
There was something wrong. Yeah, I knew right away. Definitely. There was something wrong. I even hit up some of his friends and go, don't you think there's something wrong with Jake? He's just not quite his normal self.
I was definitely getting my aggressive streaks. I get just the urge to break something or blow something up or, you know, just anything to be destructive.
His emotional state was troubled constantly. I would look at him and automatically tell that something's wrong.
I had my grandfather, who's a firefighter, told me that I need to go get some therapy through, you know, the 20, 30 some odd years of firefighting that he'd been through. So there's situations where, of course, you want to get therapy afterwards, and especially after being blown up, you probably want to go see a therapist.
I knew that he was dealing with things that he couldn't deal with emotionally. I would like to have think that he was strong enough to deal with it on his own, but he wasn't. Nobody is.
I was worried sick about the rest of the Marines that were still in Iraq, the rest of my brothers that were over there. I felt useless, and I seriously didn't feel like I belonged at home. I belonged back in Iraq with my buddies and my brothers.
That's what started this whole thing, was the fact that he survived and no one else did.
I started to drink pretty heavily. Drinking would just kind of make me forget what was going on, and it would slow my mind down from all those racing thoughts.
He didn't need to drown his sorrows in whiskey. He needed to talk about it.
While I was in Iraq, I heard that any Marine coming back from Iraq can get immediate therapy, you know, can get an appointment like that, no problem, once they get back. It took me about a month and a half after that initial going to see the corpsman and, you know, running it up, and to finally see, or to finally get an appointment. After they told me that, you know, there's that chain of command of people I had to go through, I said, screw it, and I went and found my own therapist.
I think it was one of the best decisions that he could have made, especially that he went to a non-military therapist, because in that respect, he could talk about things that he's not supposed to do or still not allowed to do because of that, but the reasoning behind why he was doing it.
The first medication we started off with was Zoloft. Pretty much everything that Zoloft was supposed to do for me, I had a negative reaction to. I became very depressed, very unsociable, felt extremely numb towards everything. It basically, you know, shot everything that was, you know, the numb feelings I had before, only multiplied it by about 10. Instead of taking like 2 steps forward, he took like 8 steps back when he went on it. I think it was 2 weeks of Zoloft that I went through, and there's just no way in hell I'd want to live my life like that. One thing that I have a hard time dealing with and still do is shopping, going to the shopping mall, going to the grocery store, doing any type of shopping, going into any crowded place. I'll go sit in the back corner, making sure I can see the whole room. The white line on the side of the road, he has a really hard time with it because that's where the bomb was. Trash or debris on the side of the road, dead animals, all these things are what they would use to hide bombs in Iraq. The white line on the side of the freeway, pretty much it fucks with me a lot because they painted my bomb white and put it on that white line that runs along the side of the highway. So that white line, you know, I still look at it and think about it. I think driving gives me something to focus on. I like having that wind in my face and having the windows down and just having some good music on or something like that. Just, it's kind of like my place to escape.
I think driving clears his head. Does a lot of driving. Most of the time he stays here, spends the time here with friends and us.
It's nice to be able to go home, go to my family, and be able to spend some time with them, sit down and relax, instead of constantly feeling like I need to do something to keep my mind focused on something.
He's still withdrawn, but better every time I see him, and I see him once a week. And it's a little bit better every time I see him. A little bit, and I'll take a little bit each time.
Time is a great healer. I think as time progresses, he'll be okay. He's got a real strong character. So I'm pretty sure he'll get over it as time progresses.
I still feel pretty kind of scared, I guess. Now I gotta go out and do what the rest of the world does. It's pretty much like I'm sitting on the bike right now. I just need to start pedaling.
Mama told me when I was young, you sit beside me, my only son. Yeah, I need to pass class, but listen closely to what I say. If the help is sunny day. Don't